In this video, we're looking at editing and changing content that already exists in a survey template. So the survey template we're looking at is the 2016 CR Index public-private. So I'll hit the edit pencil. And it's just loading up the template now. And which section are we wanting to look at, Mile?
Let me check. Whichever.
Okay, so we're just going to sort of show you how you might change the information in the guidance notes, for example. So if we go into the corporate strategy section and just hit the pencil, the plus icon next to corporate strategy to open it up. If we go into question 1A, again, pencil icon, you'll see there are various types of text box in the question. These are just fields that we add in to give introductions to questions, to give additional information that might be useful to companies when answering the questions, and to give definitions of terms that we're using within that section or question. So the first thing that a company will see under question 1A is a definition of the statement of a company's vision and values. So that's just to give them a bit of sort of foundation as to what they're supposed to be looking at within this question. Then we've got another inline text field, which is blank. This one would just be used as a spacing tool for the question, just to get the design of it looking more neat. Then we've got an answer field, which contains the actual questions that are scored within this section. So if we wanted to make changes to this definition field up here, when you're in the field, you just start typing away, click outside of it, you can see a little egg timer icon appeared on the left hand side of the screen then, and that was it saving the content that we just created. So if I just copy all this and delete it, and you'll see the icon just briefly appeared again, so it saves it as soon as you click out of the field. You can add all kinds of formatting, so you can make it bold, you can change the style of it, so it's italic and big. You can use different types of heading on the information. So it's just a standard HTML manager, and because it's an HTML manager, you can even go and look at the source code and see what formatting it's applied and what links it's using for different things. So if we click on source, just to go back to the front, if we wanted to add a hyperlink, you just click to select the piece of text, click on the link icon, and you would start typing in the details of the link once the box popped up. And you can use this for various types of link as well. It doesn't just have to be a URL or a web page address. You can use it for an email address, so you can have it open up an email if they want more information on something that will go straight to the manager of Community Mark with the subject line of Community Mark section in CR Index, and starting off going, "Hi Tom," or whoever, I had a question about such and such. And then when they click on that link, it will automatically open up an email using their email editor, so it might be Outlook that they're using with those pieces of information already in the email, ready for them to type in whatever else they need and then hit send. So there's all different ways that you can use the links manager. So I'll just close that down if it'll let me.
It's a system bug.
Okay, so I'll hit OK. I'll hit URL. Okay, so now I can just remove the link. Now I've created one by hitting the remove link. And you just need to make sure you've selected the whole of the text or image or whatever that had the link attached to it there. So we have different ways of pasting into text field in ProBench. So if I go through to Word, a lot of the time when we're doing guidance notes, which this is part of, we'll use a Word document as a source for the text that we're going to be wanting to use in the guidance note. And this just means that we have a way of making changes and accepting changes across the teams that are working on them. So what we have here is a piece of text that has various bits of formatting attached to it, which we may or may not want to use in the actual guidance notes. So I'm just copying that whole first section, going through to the content manager. And if I use the first type of paste field, it will paste everything in as is. So it will paste it in this window. I hit OK, and it's horrible. You can see it's got various pieces of content that are anchors and so on that it just doesn't know what to do with. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to try one of the other paste icons. So the next one is paste as plain text. So that will just remove all the formatting from it. Again, because of my browser settings, it's making me paste it into a window. So if I hit OK, you can see all of the information that was on that Word document has been pasted in. You need to watch out for removing things like this. And it's all in the same format as was already being used on the page.
Including the comments.
Yes, yes. So that's also not what we wanted. So we're going to try the Word paste form icon. So hopefully this is... So this is kind of a halfway house between the two. So this has brought in a lot of the formatting as we would want to use it, but because we haven't accepted all the changes and hidden them, it's still brought through the links for the different comments that we had and the text that we had with them. So that's again not quite as we would want it, but that's because of what we've got in the Word document, not because of how we've brought it in. You can see on the formatting of it, it's got the right kind of heading for the field, for the guidance notes. The text formatting that it's used is exactly as we would want it within the survey front end, and it's all laid out in a way that is consistent with what we want to see on screen. So generally, paste from Word is your best bet. But you still need to be careful that things like this are not being brought in. But if they are and you don't want them there, you can just delete them using the delete keys, and you can just delete the L1 comment like that. So you can sort of remove things and change how they're looking. If you want to change the spacing of the text that we've got in this section, so you didn't want as much space between all of these rows, handy thing that you can do with HTML is create a line break rather than a paragraph break. And if we were to go and look in the source code for this, it's got paragraph line breaks between these lines. So if we were to click delete next to what's the difference, and then press, now I can never quite remember, is it function and then, no, that's not done it. Yes. Okay, so what you would need to do is press the caps key and then return, and that will create a much tighter space between the two rows. So if we were to do that across all of these rows, you'd have a nice compact little section of questions that we want to ask people. As it turns out, none of this stuff is what we're actually going to be wanting to need to use in it. It was just an example, so I'm deleting it and then leaving the definition as it was. and you'll see that the little icon over on the left hand side appeared again as I clicked out of the field, and it's resaved the definition as it was initially. If you're wanting to change one of the guidance notes that appears on the right hand side, these are a different type of text field. They're called a side box. These tend to have much longer pieces of information than we would want to have in the middle of a question on the page. And people can click to view the whole information, or they can just scroll up and down on the right hand side of the page. So this has a lot of information in it. And again, you just click, add in the text you wanted, add in the links you wanted, make sure the formatting is right, and then click out of the box to save it. And that's really all you need to know for editing a piece of guidance notes. Has that covered everything?
Yep.
Great. Okay, so we're going to stop now.